Chief Executive John Lee continues his journey in Qatar on the second day of his Middle Eastern tour. Timothy Lee reports.
Embarking on the second day of his Middle Eastern tour, Chief Executive John Lee attended a roundtable meeting with the Qatar Businessmen Association in a bid to find out more about the country's business environment and culture. The CE noted on social media that Qatar serves as a crucial node of the Belt and Road Initiative and has deep potential for cooperation with Hong Kong. He took the opportunity to encourage local businesses to utilize Hong Kong's unique advantages to tap into the mainland market. Lee later participated in a luncheon organized by the SAR government and the Trade Development Council. He spoke to more than 100 representatives of the business and industry sectors in Qatar.
This is the first time a chief executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region has led delegates from both Hong Kong and mainland China on a business mission. And I'm pleased that we are making our first stop here. Hong Kong is devoted to furthering cooperation with Qatar. We may be modest in size and population, but we share an outsized ambition and commitment to transcending geographical constraints, to building economies not by scale, but through insight, innovation, and sustainability.
The delegation led by the CE further explored Qatar's capital city of Doha today, including Hamad International Airport. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Besides being an air transport hub, Qatar has been developing its tourism industry in recent years in hopes of doubling the amount of visitors in 5 years' time. Some mainland tourism agencies say the Qatari government has been strengthening efforts to promote and attract tourists via rewards. This, as representatives from Hong Kong's tourism sector believe the Middle Eastern country lacks appeal. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Being a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council, Qatar ranks first in GDP per capita among the 6 member states, at 550,000 Hong Kong dollars annually. Like many of its neighbors, much of Qatar's wealth comes from its rich oil and natural gas resources. In a bid to diversify its economy, the Persian Gulf nation launched its Qatar National Vision 2030 development plan in 2008, with the aim of boosting its tourism sector. The plan took off with the country hosting the 2022 FIFA World Cup, during which the Qatari government spent $220 billion to revamp Doha's public transport and hotels. Li Guoling is the executive director of a Chinese tourism agency in Qatar. Her company took advantage of the international sports event in 2022 to be the first Chinese tourism agency in Qatar to offer services for high-end Chinese tourists in the country. She pointed out the friendly culture of the Qatari people, saying that they would often gift tourists with local products after making any eye contact, and emphasized the importance of hospitality in Middle Eastern culture. Lee added that while there are far more popular destinations in the Middle East than Qatar, the Qatari government incentivizes tourism by offering cash rewards to those who organize forums and exhibitions in the country. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, Qatar's tourism earnings reached $25 billion last year, accounting for 10% of the country's GDP. Tourist consumption also reached a record-breaking $19.1 billion. This as Doha hopes the country will be able to attract 6 million tourists annually starting in 5 years. But the optimism was not shared by all parties. A Hong Kong tourism agency that regularly organizes Middle Eastern tours since the 1980s said while destinations such as Dubai and Saudi Arabia remain popular, no one has picked its Qatar package since the pandemic owing to its lack of landmarks. The company added it will only consider promoting Qatar if certain airlines offer affordable tickets to the country. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The government today proposed subsidiary legislation for safeguarding national security. The proposal includes details about the work of the Office for Safeguarding National Security. Mimo Singhai reports.
Established in July 2020, the Office for Safeguarding National Security, or OSNS, is responsible for overseeing the government in discharging national security-related duties. In a paper to the Legislative Council, the Security Bureau and the Department of Justice proposed to cover several aspects in the subsidiary legislation. When exercising jurisdiction over a case involving national security offences, any government department, agency or civil servant must provide necessary and reasonable assistance, facilitation and backing as requested by the OSNS. Government sources say members of the judiciary will be exempted from the requirement in accordance with the Basic Law, which provides a framework for courts to operate without interference. Individuals will be seen as committing an offence if they fail to comply with a legal document issued by the OSNS and cannot offer a reasonable explanation. To ensure relevant institutions and individuals will act in compliance with the legal documents or in cooperation with the office in carrying out its instructions, authorities propose giving immunity from civil liability. To protect the OSNS for conducting its orders, authorities plan to show that an identification document or a document of certification created or issued by the office has the effect of proving facts. The paper also suggests that the chief executive declare the OSNS premises as prohibited places, adding the declaration will not create an impact on the surrounding community. In a Legislative Council meeting on Monday afternoon, the government said the subsidiary legislation is necessary amid the current geopolitical tensions.
There could also be circumstances arising out of the blue, and therefore we will have to act preemptively to ensure that I will be able to do an even better job in terms of safeguarding national security.
In addition, there is the constitutional duty that Hong Kong SAR has to continuously fulfill. Of course, it is better to fulfill such duties as soon as possible.
The government says it will complete the enactment of the subsidiary legislation as early as possible and that it should take effect on the date of Gazetto. Novus 9, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump said he would sign an executive order to cut prescription drug prices to the level paid by other high-income countries, an amount he put at 30% to 80% less. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said he would sign the executive order to pursue what is known as most favored nation pricing or international reference pricing. The U.S. pays the most in the world for many prescription drugs, often nearly triple that of other developed nations. Trump hasn't publicly specified how he would do this and did not provide details in his post. Drug makers have been expecting an order that would focus on the Medicare health insurance program, according to 4 drug industry lobbyists who've said they had been briefed by the White House. Director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, Xia Baolong, met with Macau industrial and commercial representatives today. This as Xia continued his inspection visit in Macau. On the 5th day of his Macau inspection, Xia Baolong arrived at the Complex of Commerce and Trade Cooperation Platform for China and Portuguese-speaking countries to attend a closed-door meeting. He was joined by more than 20 industrial and commerce representatives. After the meeting, Macau's Secretary for Economy and Finance, Tai Kin-ip, said Xia reminded enterprises to stand in solidarity with the country to tackle the current geopolitical situation. Tram fares have gone up starting today. Signs notifying passengers of the fare hike have been put up at stations. Fares for passengers aged 12 or above have risen from $3 to $3.30, and for children from $1.50 to $1.60. Passengers aged 65 or above will now have to pay $1.50 compared with the previous $1.30. This as the monthly tram pass remains unchanged at $260. The government noted that the price adjustments were made after it reviewed a fare hike proposal last month and assessed public acceptability of the increase. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Pearl Magazine is up shortly. See you then.